Update 6 is coming in June, and Coffee Stains have released a load of information about it. First, we're going to be talking about the changes that they've announced and also some things that you may have missed. And then after that, we'll break down a little bit more about the new process that they're taking. Now, straight off the bat, it's going to be a smaller update focused on exploration, though the only image that we've been shown so far is this from the northern coast, and there are some notable points of this which we'll be talking about a little later, which you may not have picked up on. Now, with the focus being on exploration, we've also been given a list of changes that they're looking at. We've got environmental changes, changes to creatures, equipment additions, and updates to the map, as well as some technical updates and bug fixes. And they've also briefly talked about clock speed, which we'll talk about as well. Now, this does mean that there are no production changes coming to Update 6, but we will see a new world update replacing the northern section. This also means that most likely the foliage is going to grow back in your factory, as is with all world map updates. Also, it is mentioned that if your factory is in the Spire area, that it's at risk. So they do recommend moving it. Now, if you are looking for a way to safely move your factory without all the work of tearing it down and rebuilding it, I do have a little video that we're going to be doing about that, which should help you out. Now, they are also going to be changing the swamp area as well. And if we look at the original map update for 1.0, their planned update, sorry, we can see a ton of other areas that are going to receive some updates up to 1.0. Although I'm not sure if we'll receive all of these in this update. The chances are it's going to be some now and then some for 1.0. The reason that I say this is that Coffee Stain recently put out a job position looking for someone to do some work on the world and environment. Now, this does mean, though, that you may see some changes in these red areas. So just be aware of that when you are building another factory in those areas. You might have a rock spawn inside them, but the chances are it's just going to be a relatively small update to them. More like a visual one, like the forest, for example, I hope. Now, looking at the image that they showed us, it actually looks like there's been a ton of changes to the northern coast, not only in the actual Spire section. So looking at this picture, if your factory is in the ocean, you might be okay. However, we have no idea what's going to be on top of that dune mountain or what's going to be behind that, because remember, we have a load of nodes around there, and Snow also mentions that they are going to be moving some of those nodes as well. Now, if we do look again at this image, you can see that all of the cliffs that are opposite from the northern forest side of the map have been removed, which makes it much more open. I actually really liked that section of the map, so it'll be interesting to see what's actually gone on there and whether there's more underground areas as well. That could be quite cool. And it also looks like they've added a lot more of these weird mushroom trees, which, I mean, are pretty cool. I just hope that we can destroy them this time. One huge change that is not really in the northern coast area is that there is this huge arch, very similar to the one that we see in the grassy meadows, with what looks like a potential waterfall as well. Now, this could be placed right at the estuary as a gateway to the Spire coast, possibly. And it's going to look great. I think it looks amazing. But a big but for me is that's exactly where my quartz factory and my central storage is. So it may have destroyed my factory, who knows? I might have to move them. A few, I want to say weeks ago, they actually teased the adding of rain in Satisfactory, and this may be coming to Satisfactory Update 6, but it may not. And also the water flow mechanics that have been mentioned prior, they may also be in the same boat, so to speak. Another environmental change is the Skybox. I can't tell much from this particular image, but if we go back to the northern forest picture, you can actually clearly see some new rendering of the clouds, which looks pretty cool. It'll also be interesting to see if the world still becomes incredibly foggy if you fly too high up, or whether that has also changed. Now, Snut then goes on to talk about the creatures in Satisfactory and mentions that they are all getting a bit of a facelift, as well as new spawn behavior and just behaviors in general. And we may also be seeing some new creatures, although the big crab-like mother creature isn't going to be arriving in this update. But this does mean that potentially we will be returning to the New Planet series after all. But do let me know what creature you think they'll be bringing to the game in the comments below. We'll also have new mechanics to the equipment system and weapons that we have in the game. So this could actually mean that we're finally receiving a holster button, and they're looking to add more equipment body slots, allowing us to maybe use a hover pack and a hazmat suit at the same time, though this might come also at a later date. Now, they're also adding new map features, making the user interface better for all, along with some quality of life features. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll be able to set waypoints on our map for us to follow whilst exploring, and Snut also mentioned a possible change to the radar tower system, though I'm not sure what it would be that they're going to add or change about that. Does this mean that the maps will be available from an earlier stage as well, rather than having to research quartz? Because a lot of new players don't know that they need to research quartz in order to unlock the map. Now, as with all updates, there are technical improvements to help improve the overall experience for players, and I don't really understand this wizardry, but they're doing something that is going to improve the game and help with the overall experience for us, and they're also going to be squishing some of those bugs. And then finally, they go on to look at changing clock speed from an exponential increase in power draw to linear. Though I love the whole exponential increase in draw, I think making it linear will actually be great for all players, as we can create higher production factories without the need for huge power plants. So overall, this will be great for late game players, but the big thing will be, if there's less need for power, then we're going to want more power shards, in which case, referring back to the new respawn mechanics, will power slugs possibly respawn, or are we going to have to farm doggos so that we get those power shards that we need? Now, if they do respawn, this actually gives us a perfect reason to go out and explore more often, right? Especially if it's randomized, but who knows, something that would be pretty cool if they do add, but I'm just speculating here. Now, I understand that they do want to be much more open about the process and push for 1.0, and I'm glad that they're still going to provide videos that will showcase the new additions. I think that's fantastic, and I truly think that this is actually the right move for them to take so that they can really push to 1.0. But what do you guys think about the update video? Are you happy with all these changes in the transparency and the moves that they're making for the next update? Well, let me know in the comments below. Oh, and if you hadn't realized, yes, Snut is about to troll me in a few seconds. Thanks goes to our supporters, notably the Calamity, Cerebral Tag, James Irwin, Podcac, Firefless and Jerry 2, as well as our Lunas, Dixie Chris, Lord of July and Ben, as well as our Blood Moon, Chick Norris. Until next time, as always,
ciao for now.
Really? That's my job. Anyway, ciao
for now.
Oh my god, it's so cute.